Hi guys, oh my god, we're off to a good start for 2025, and I'm making a prediction here. It will be dominated by the issue of immigration because the media seem determined to put as much fuel in Nigel Farage and Reform UK's tank as possible. So I don't know which is worse, that a former advisor to the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper talked absolute tripe on the BBC, or that the breakfast show provided him with a platform. While being a former advisor, it seems he's happy to provide the Home Office with suggestions, even if they're crap. Have a listen.
I see a clear change of direction. The Rwanda scheme has been scrapped. That's not going ahead. Always thought that was a complete waste of money and wasn't going to work. I think that's the right thing to do. The setting up of the Border Security Command under the direction of Martin Hewitt, former senior police officer, again to try and bring together all the various agencies that are working on this problem to try and tackle it. That's good. Bit of a boost in terms of investigators and prosecutors, including liaison officers working overseas. All of this is really good action that I think will help disrupt the gangs. The big question for me is what's being done about the demand side. That's being done to tackle the supply side, but you still have the demand for people to come across. And I argue that the only way to do that is to get an effective deterrent, which is basically to say to people, if you come across, you will be sent straight back to France within 48 hours. You will be on a ferry going back to Calais within 48 hours. And that involves an agreement between the UK and France, or an agreement between the UK and the EU. That is the crucial thing for me. I think that's going to be very difficult to strike such a deal, but I do hope that those discussions are taking place, behind the scenes.
This guy used to be an advisor, and he doesn't understand one thing about immigration, it seems. This is the type of rhetoric, and you can look and you can find the videos. This is the type of rhetoric, almost verbatim, that Richard Tice was spewing when he was on the BBC or on ITV or on Sky News. What we do is we pick people up and we take them back to France. There are a number of problems with that. First of all, what if France says no? See, the UK used to be a member of the European Union, and under the Dublin Convention, it was possible to send people back. But the UK is no longer a member of the European Union, so it can't apply the Dublin Convention. But this idea, you just pick people up and take them back to France. Okay, you need to have an agreement with France to do such a thing, which is highly unlikely. Because why would France do a deal with the UK on this? These people don't want to stay in France. They want to get to the United Kingdom. Why is this so difficult for people to understand? You take people back to France who don't want to be in France. What are they going to do? They're going to wait around and they're going to get in the next available dinghy or boat and they're going to cross the channel. Because that's what they have been doing. They're waiting in France to get to Britain. They don't want to stay in France. They want to arrive in the UK and make an asylum claim. Now, this would be breaking conventions, picking people up and taking them back to France, because the UK is obliged to allow them to make an asylum claim. So how can you take people, if people arrive and they make an asylum claim, how can you send them back to France? It's nonsensical. It will break conventions. And it's completely impractical. You're going to have to send people to France without an agreement, or even if you have an agreement, France is not going to take everyone back. They're going to take limited numbers. It's a nonsensical approach. Once again, it's basically what Reform UK are talking about. This guy, I don't know why he's been interviewed. He's a former advisor. He's coming up with Reform UK solutions for the UK government, which are nonsensical. It's delusional thinking. But there's a hint of exceptionalism here as well. France need to take these people back because we don't want them. But France doesn't want them either. And they don't want to be in France. So the logical approach would be to create a safe route for these people to come in. But you don't want to do that either. You want to talk about deterrence. You want to keep people out, people who want to arrive. Doesn't it make more sense to create a safe route for people to come in so they can work in the economy, they can contribute to society, as opposed to arriving across a dangerous channel, being stuck in a hotel indefinitely, and living off the state? But we have to talk about deterrence. We have to try and convince people who want to arrive in the UK not to come, and ignore the reality of why they're leaving their homes in the first place. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.